Can Michigan finally cover the spread as a road favorite? Will Alabama or Tennessee control their own destiny to a conference championship game? And can Texas continue their SEC supremacy? Or will Georgia reclaim their throne as top dog in the conference? Welcome back to the Best Bets video, guys. We're going to be going over the top 15 spread picks for Week 8 of college football. Last week was a night and day scenario. We were 10-5 straight up with the picks, but against the spread, I was 5-10. So we're still above water in the spread. We're doing really well with the Moneyline picks, but we should do better this week. I really feel like we will do better. So without further ado, let's get into it with the number 15 game this week. Arizona hosting Colorado. It's a 2.5-point favorite. Colorado is being taken 71% of the time by the public. They're one of the best teams the last 2 years as an underdog. Arizona, last year they were really good against the spread. They've been the exact opposite this year. They're 1-5 overall against the spread. I'm going to take Colorado to not only cover the 2.5 points as an underdog, but to win straight up. I picked against them every single time, and I've lost every single time. So I'm going to take them this time. Number 14, UCF going on the road to Iowa State. Public's taking the Cyclones 71% of the time. ISU is one of the best teams against the spread this year. They're 5-1 overall, 12-7 since the start of last year. Both teams are good as favorite or as underdogs. UCF's 4-1 as an underdog, while Iowa State's 8-4. Not too much difference here, but I'm just going to go with Iowa State. They've just been trending a lot better than UCF has. They're not a good team, and I think Iowa State is on track to have a team of destiny for the program. I think they're going to move to 7-0 against UCF. Number 13, West Virginia hosting Kansas State. Kansas State's only a 3-point favorite as a road team. I think that they've been kind of mid against the spread lately. Both teams are 2-4 this year. I'm still going to take Kansas State to not only win this, but cover. West Virginia had a really good chance last week to pull an big upset against Iowa State, but they just couldn't do it. I think they're going to falter again this week against perennial Big 12 favorite Kansas State, who's going to move to 6-1 against the Mountaineers. Number 12, Auburn going on the road to Missouri. This one was a very tough decision because even though Missouri has not been doing well, the public's taking Auburn 63% of the time. Auburn is just not a good team. They keep finding ways to lose, and there's not really a difference maker in the spread analytics. So I'm almost going to hedge my bets with this one. I'm going to take Missouri straight up with the money line. I'm going to take Auburn to cover the 4-point spread. Number 11, Cincinnati hosting Arizona State. Cincinnati, surprisingly, a 5-point favorite. Going into this one, they've played spoiler each of the last 3 weeks, and they were picked just like Houston to finish at the bottom of the Big 12, but they're shockingly 4-2, right in the cusp of being in first place. I think only have one loss in conference. So this was a tough pick. I think Cincinnati will win the game, but Arizona State's 5-1 this year against the spread, and they've been 7-5 as a road team the last 2 years. And while Cincinnati's been 5-11 as a home team against the spread, so I'm going to take the Sun Devils to cover, Cincinnati to win straight up. Number 10, BYU against Oklahoma State. Another game that's I don't know how to pick the spread. BYU has been killing it this year. They're 6-0, one of the few undefeated teams against the spread in 2024. They've been 11-7 since the start of last year, and they've been 4-2 as a favorite since the start of last year. Both teams are really good when the spread is within 7.5 to 10.5 points. Both have 5 wins since 2019. I'm going to take BYU to continue their hot streak. Oklahoma State, I don't know about them. They're a decent team, but they've just been very, very underperforming this year. I think BYU is going to move to 7-0 and cover the 9-point spread against the Pokes. Number 9, Notre Dame hosting Georgia Tech. Both teams have been really good against the spread since the start of 2023. This was a hard decision because even though the public's taking Notre Dame 72% of the time, I think Georgia Tech at 11.5 points, it's too good to pass up. I'm going to take Notre Dame to win straight up, but Georgia Tech to cover as an 11.5-point underdog. They're 8-3 since the start of last year as a underdog ATS. I'm taking Georgia Tech. Number 8, basically a toss-up game in the SEC. Florida against Kentucky. Whoever loses this game is going to be on the fast track to not having a good season. I think that's going to be Florida. I think Kentucky wins this. The money line has shifted from -2 for Florida. I think it's all the way up to -1.5 for Kentucky. The public is taking Florida 90% of the time. I'm going to buck that trend. I'm going to take the Wildcats, who are 7-3 against the spread on the road since the start of 2022. I'm going to take them to cover and win outright. Number 7, Oklahoma against South Carolina. My upset pick of the week. I'm going to take the Gamecocks to not only cover but beat Oklahoma outright in this game. Oklahoma's only 1.5 point favorite. The public is thinking South Carolina 65% of the time. They're 7-4 as a road team in the last 2.5 years. I don't see what is good with Oklahoma right now. They have a terrible quarterback situation. They both got benched. I don't know if they go back to Arnold. South Carolina is just right on the cusp losing to these better teams. They should have beat Alabama last week. Had the game in the bag against LSU. They lost both. I think they finally pulled out against a decent Oklahoma team and pulled the upset of the week on the road. Number 6, Indiana hosting Nebraska. 6.5 point Indiana is favored in this one. They were the first team in the FBS to go 6-0 this year. Who had that on their bingo card? But they've been 5-1 against the spread this year, while Nebraska's not doing much worse. 4-1 with one tie. This was a tough one, but I think Indiana, who is 6-3 as a favorite against the spread the last year, since the start of last year, has that slight edge. I'm going to take them to win and cover the 6.5 points against the Cornhuskers, who are not a bad team. I just think they won't cover this one. I think Indiana, even though they've had an easy schedule, they are still a really good team. Number 5, Michigan against Illinois. I said this in the opener. Michigan is a 3.5 point favorite on the road, but Michigan is 1-5 ATS this year, while Illinois is 4-1 against the spread overall. Michigan has not been doing well since the start of last year against the spread, but as an away team since 2022, they're 7-3, while Illinois is 6-11-1 as the home team. And with this point spread, 3.5 to 7, Michigan is 6-3, while Illinois is 6-8. I'm going to take Michigan to win and finally cover as a road team. 3.5 points. I think they get it done in Champaign on the road. Number 4, LSU going on the road to Arkansas. I think Arkansas could play spoiler yet again. This is only a 1.5 point spread at the time of this video. I'm going to take LSU to win, but I think I'm going to hedge my bets and say Arkansas covers the 1.5 points. Either this game is going to be a 1 point victory for LSU and I'm looking like a freaking genius, or Arkansas is going to pull the massive upset and I just hedge my bets. So the biggest one that sticks out to me is that LSU was 2-4 this year against the spread, while Arkansas is 4-1-1. As a favorite since the start of last year, LSU is 9-8, while Arkansas is 8-2 as the underdog. That is a big one for me. So it was tough. It would be very difficult for me to say that an unranked SEC team, even though they're the home team, beats a top 10 SEC team. I just had to hedge my bets, guys. I think LSU wins. Arkansas covers the 1.5 points. Could pull the upset, though. Number 3, Miami against Louisville. Miami's been living on the freaking edge 2 of the last 3 games. I think that they will win this game outright. They're only a 5 point favorite, and the public is taking them 77% of the time to cover. I think I'm going to buck that trend and take Louisville, who has had some close losses to good teams. They lost to Notre Dame, then they lost to SMU. They're 13-4 as a home team since the start of 2022, while Miami is 6-7 as the road team. So, I mean, that big one right there shows you that Louisville just knows how to cover the spread. They're an underdog especially. I think they will cover it. I think Miami still wins outright. But I would not be shocked if Louisville comes away with the upset, gets right back on track, even with the 2 losses, to have the outside chance to get back to the ACC Championship game. Number 2, the third Saturday in October. This one was an epic all-time matchup 2 years ago when it was at Neyland Stadium in Tennessee. Alabama comes in as only a 3 point favorite in this one. Bama is being taken 75% of the time by the public. This was a tough one. Both teams have not been playing well each of the last 2 weeks. Tennessee just barely survived against Florida after losing to Arkansas. Alabama should have lost 2 in a row. After they lost to Vanderbilt, they played like absolute dog crap the second quarter on against South Carolina, and they should have lost. So both teams very well could be 4-2 at this point. But needless to say, they're both 5-1. Tennessee is 12-5 at home against the spread since the start of 2022. Alabama's 5-7 on the road. But it's very difficult for me to pick against Alabama. I just think even though they've been faulty, they playing weird as of late. I think they're going to win this. Tennessee has been 0-2 against the spread as the underdog since the start of last year, while Alabama is 10-7 as the favorite. I'm just going to take a total toss-up shot in the air. I think Alabama wins. They're going to cover the 3 points, and they get a victory and march on to be the front runner to face Texas in the SEC championship game. where Texas will be facing Georgia. Now, these two games could have a huge impact on how the rest of the, not only SEC conference race goes, but how the CFP playoff chase goes. Because Texas right now is killing everybody. They're easily the front runner in the SEC, and they hold the tiebreaker with a lot of good teams right now if they beat Georgia. Now, on the other hand, if Georgia were to beat Texas and Alabama were to beat Tennessee, this whole SEC scenario would be thrown on its head, because then Georgia, Texas, and Alabama will all beat each other, and their tiebreakers will come into play. So, needless to say, this game, Texas is a 5-point favorite. The public is taking Georgia 56% of the time, though. Texas is 5-1 ATS this year, while Georgia is the opposite. They're 1-5. They've covered only one game. Texas is 11-5-1 at home since the start of 2022, while Georgia is 3-7 on the road. I think Georgia loses this game, and they do not cover the 5-point spread. Texas has just been playing lights out the last 2 years against the spread. They're 12-7, while Georgia is 6-13. I think they get it done at home. The Longhorns not only win, but they cover the 5-point spread and win this massive matchup against Georgia midway through the season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week for week 9 of the Best Bets videos. Hopefully we do well. We'll see you guys then.